Welcome to the Jamodi podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is Jamodi, just a matter of doing it. Coaches, the Jamodi podcast is sponsored by 3on3 Hoops Hub. 3on3 Hoops Hub has run over 350 3on3 basketball leagues for kids since 1997. 3on3 is the ideal format for players to get a lot of opportunities, work on all skills and positions, and have fun with their friends. Whether you want to build your program, raise some funds, or start your own business, you can bring 3on3 to your community and do it like an expert by learning from the best with 3on3 Hoops Hub's free 90-minute training. You can register at the link in the show notes. What's the best thing that you've borrowed lately?
So I got the privilege of being on, I think I snuck on a podcast, or not a podcast, a Zoom with the Baylor staff during quarantine, and just got to be a fly on the wall and listen to some of the ideas and things that they do. And Coach Tang was speaking, and they do this culture chart after every game. And basically it's a plus minus chart that they do. And it's based on if you stand up and high five a guy, you get a +1. If you stand up and give a flex, encourage a teammate, you get a +1. If you put your hands on your knees, it's a -1. Or if you don't stand up to high five someone as they're coming out the game, it's a -1. So they have a person just film their bench, and then a manager stat it after the game. And it's something we've done the last 2 years, and I just love it because you have guys at the end of the bench who might be upset or might be not in the right frame of mind. But if they know at the end of the game, there's repercussions coming if I'm not doing these things, and kind of fake it till you make it type of deal. I think it's really just helped our culture. And then it just became infectious and it became who we are. So that's something I'm not smart enough to think of. So I think it's brilliant.
I'll tell you, I love getting to hear that college programs and those guys at Baylor are special to me, and so I'm not surprised that they would do something like that. What's surprising to me is that as a high school coach, you're able to do that. So part of the idea behind this podcast is not what you do, but how you do what you do.
Right.
And how did you film that, have somebody, because my film follows the ball. So right. I'll only see my bench half of the possessions. How did you do that?
So we have two managers. So we have a manager that just sets up a camera and literally just points at our bench the whole entire game. And he doesn't have to mess with it at all. Just it's focused on our bench the whole entire game. And then we have the one that's interactive back and forth. So even if you're on the court, you can still get like a plus minus if you're high-fiving, or if a ref drops a ball and it's right beside you, you don't pick it up and hand it back to him. And we've kind of made it our own, but you just set up one right in front. And after the game, one of our assistant coaches, instead of breaking down our film, will just take it and it's really just bought into it and kind of made it his own as well. And just every day after the game, when we come in and watch ourselves, that's the first thing that pops up on the board. And, it doesn't feel good as a player if you're in the red,
Yeah.
The first couple of games this season, we had a couple of kids, and, we made a point really quick that wasn't who we are. And if you can't get to that green level or can't get where we need you to be and do your role, then, we're going to have to find other options. But once again, it just took off, and no kid wanted to be, in the red, and just once again became who we were.
I would think early on they may be consciously doing things for the camera.
Right.
Is there a point where you notice like they're just kind of doing it now? They don't even really notice the camera, or that it's just organic.
For sure. I think by district time, our coach is like, I don't even have to grade this anymore. It's just people are in the +20s and our standard 5. So it just got to a point where, once again, it just became who we are. And it's just, to me, if you measure something, it becomes important to the guys. And if you can show them a baseline and show them, stats behind it, I think kids will, reciprocate that and do it. And so hopefully, just forward it, just it's infectious and comes who we are.
We've only been going for about 10 minutes, but it's already been like I've gotten something really useful out of this talk. And that's what I love. I think every coach out there has something that they've either learned or that they do that, it should really make you think Like, I think we have a pretty, well, we would say shaped, PGC culture, like shaped bench, but how often besides randomly on our end or a charge on, when we're on defense and the whole team, like I do try to celebrate those, but really one thing I appreciated about you, even I could tell from that round table at the Colony, was how organized that you are and how purposeful that you are. This is the time of year where all of us have just come off of either a great year or the worst year we've ever had or an okay year.
Right.
And we're all trying to think of what can we do better? What do we need to take out? But that's a great nugget, man. Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the Jamodi podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.